Welcome along to another episode of Scottish Football Matters. Myself, Murray, and my good friend Lorenzo.
Hello.
This week we're going to unpack all the League Cup ties. We'll have a little chat about the draw, and then we'll touch on the European ties coming up for the 5 teams in Europe, and we'll have a wee bit on the new Scotland appointment of Pocognoli and sort of see what our thoughts are on that one. But I suppose best place to start is Friday night, Ayrshire Derby. I thought it was a great game. I really did. I thought Ayr put so much into it. I thought they were a better side for long spells. But, they sort of ran out of legs. And I think when Leon King went off, I think he went off about, was it 65?
Yep.
I think they lost all control of the game at that point. And I'm not saying just because of him, but I think when your best centre-back goes off, I don't know, they just seem to lose. And obviously you knew Kelly were going to come strong with the SPL team, and when you're behind, it's going to be long balls, get it in the box quickly. And I felt that was a real turning point. But
to be fair to Ayr though, Murray, they were in the league twice. And they were unlucky.
They were really good. They played some good stuff, and I can't begrudge Kilmarnock the win because they battled in. They did what you need to do.
They grinded it.
It was a great advert for Scottish football.
It was.
Do you know it's a great advert for what we've been saying for a while? Is league expansion would have the likes of Ayr in the top flight, and I think there was an example there when we come to the Hibs Partick game. It's another example of there's not a lot between these teams.
That's right.
Especially at the bottom end of the SPL and the top end of the Championship. There's nothing.
I know that Dunfermline didn't make it, but I'd like to see Dunfermline in the top flight.
Yeah, I think we'll touch on them obviously in their game, but I think Ayr can count themselves unlucky, but credit to Kilmarnock for battling through.
Yeah, definitely.
I thought a couple of good goals. I thought the second Ayr goal was a brilliant finish with his left foot. And I thought the Kilmarnock winner was a really lovely. The way he dinks it over, because in the last minute there's probably a tendency to just put your foot through it.
Felt for the goalie though. The goalie made some mistake.
No, he does. But I think with that one, so many people would just try and blast it at the goal. But he showed real composure and went, well, the keeper's out, I'm just dinking this. And he lifts it straight into the net, and it's a great wee finish.
That's a nice goal.
So, credit to Kilmarnock. Showed good battle on spirits, but, commiserations to Ayr, because I thought they showed up really, really well.
Aye.
On to Saturday's games. We'll start with Aberdeen Dundee. It was kind of the reversal of the league game.
Aye.
And these two teams, and I'll add Dundee United to this, they seem like teams that are going to be very reliant on their home form this year. They don't seem quite the same teams on the road. And it felt like, Aberdeen blew them away in a wee 15-minute period, but there wasn't much between the two sides in the other 75 minutes.
I know that Nisbet scored 2 goals and he's doing well.
Yeah.
The other boy that scored, that was a cracker. Yeah, finish.
The other boy.
How do you pronounce his name? Intello, that's it.
Intello, and I thought it was a great left-footed finish. That was his debut as well.
Aye, really good.
But credit to Aberdeen, because I think they got a bit of criticism after they beat Hearts, and then they went to Dundee, and you're expecting them to back it up, and they didn't. They looked scared. They looked just terrible. But credit that they bounced back, but I feel that they're going to do that all season. Like I could see them losing an away game and bouncing back at home with a win and having a bit of an up and down season. Aberdeen,
definitely, because they're capable of that.
They very much look like a home team. They don't look like they can do that on the road. But credit where it's due, though, Aberdeen. And obviously, we might as well talk about it because actually that set up a quarter-final tie. Kilmarnock v Aberdeen. I don't know where I favour, because I think Aberdeen are a better team. But I think with it being at Kilmarnock, I think that's a leveller. because Kilmarnock also seem like a team that are going to be a very home-formy team. And
Kilmarnock obviously have conceded a lot of goals as well, so Aberdeen will fancy their chances.
They will, but obviously these games are a month away or 4 weeks away, and you could. Everyone's got 2-3 weeks to the transfer window to fill gaps, and Kilmarnock, as we said, they need.
They'll need to do it. They'll need to do it
because they do look good going forward, Kelly. They really do. They look quite strong. But yeah, on to Dunfermline, Ross County. I thought this was a bit. It wasn't an unfair score because Ross County took their chances, but there really wasn't much between the two teams. I know Ross County are a League One team, but again, I think they're a team that are going to probably battle back up to the Championship this year. They look like they've got a good squad, and credit to them though, because they ground out a win at a tough place in Dunfermline. But it did feel like watching two teams that aren't quite there yet in terms of maybe like bringing in loan players and finalising their squads. I feel like if they play each other like in the Scottish Cup later in the season, I think it could be a completely different game because I think you'll see lots of changes in both teams.
There'll be different players,
but I think credit to Ross County going away to Dunfermline and winning it is good, and obviously getting through at the quarterfinals, you have to praise that. On to Tannadice, and I have to say, I'm not going to say this because it's against Celtic, but it wasn't a 4-0 game in any stretch of the imagination. Credit to Celtic for scoring 4 goals because they were very clinical and took all the goals were good. Trusty, great header in their post. We'll talk about the Duran one because I
thought the pick of the bunch was Negrins.
Yeah, Negrins are a great finish, and Tenetki's is a great counter attack because Dundee United at that point in the game had sort of hemmed Celtic in, and Celtic broke up the park and ended the game essentially with the third. But Negrin's finish was excellent. The second goal, right, there is 2 talking points, obviously, for the first half, the 2 handball incidents, right? This is my take on it. It's not a penalty for the one with Oxlade-Chamberlain because it hits him high up enough.
Right.
But I have to say, he is so lucky because you cannot try and block a cross with your arm there.
No, I know.
And you can't lean into the ball because he's absolutely fortunate at where it hits because it's literally, centimetres away from being penalty, no penalty. And I think it's something that players really need to be careful of because it's not a penalty because it's the rules. But he's hell of a lucky because he has no control over where that ball lands. He is the one who sees a ball coming in and decides to put his hand towards the ball. To me, though, I'm not getting at the rules, but they're more penalties, right, than ones where your hand's down by your side, but it hits your hand, and you go, because clearly that's a natural position. That isn't. So, but I hate this whole shut line box because you're just kind of like, well, surely what should be a penalty, right, is movement towards the ball, not the ball hitting your hand.
That's right.
And to me, it should be a penalty. But I know it isn't a penalty based on the rules. But for me, Oxlade-Chamberlain is so lucky in terms of where it hits because it's just stupidity. Because, that could be a game-changing moment.
It could have been, but thankfully
it by the letter of the law, it's the correct decision.
Right.
That's all we'll say. The other one, oh God.
I think I know what you're going to say, but it is a
handball, right? I think we can all agree with that. It is his hand. This is where the problem is, right? Falkirk, first day of the season, ball inconclusively hits a boy's hand, goes to another player, and he scores. Goal gets chalked off because they said it hit an arm and that ball impacted going to the other player and he put it in the net, right? That was what the SFA said. That was exact words where the boy's arm impacted the movement of the ball, which was then knocked into the net in the very next touch.
Right, but see the rule.
Goals.
See the goal, but the goal that we got there, the rule states that it's hit. It's obviously hit Casper Hou's hand, right?
Yes.
But if it hits his hand and he scores for that, then it gets chopped off. But if it hits his hand and it goes through to a teammate, and the teammate scores, the goal counts because that's in the rules.
That's utter bollocks, because why is
the rules?
Falkirk? But it's not the rules, though, because why is Falkirk getting a goal disallowed?
I don't know, but apparently
this is what I'm saying. It's consistent. It's not the rules
but
anyway.
They came out and said it after
the Willie Collum's rules to suit his agenda.
Did Emma Dodds not come out at half time and clarify it?
No, she's clarifying what Willie Collum's saying. But does anyone in Scotland really believe Willie Collum knows the rules of football? Because I don't.
It's got to be
because last year,
I agree with you. It's got to be
last year he was coming out with things like the contact on the leg is high up enough for a red card, but there isn't enough force. Someone's got stud marks in their fucking shin. How much force do you want?
I know.
So crazy. You're like, I just don't believe a word that Willie Collum says, because he is inept at his job. I'm not going to start going down and say he's a cheat or biased, anything like that. He is incapable of doing his job. Because 1, he doesn't know the rules. 2, he doesn't know how to apply the rules.
The goal in the first game,
he thinks that those referees currently refereeing in Scottish football are good enough. And for me, anyone who thinks any of those things are true is a buffoon. Because the Scottish football standards are terrible, but Willie Collum constantly backs them up. He makes up the rules to suit his agenda, week in, week out. And quite frankly, I don't care whether that's a goal or not a goal, right? But you cannot tell me that using your own eyes that the Falkirk goal and the Celtic goal, if you're looking at them and saying a hand has been involved accidentally, has put the ball to a teammate, and a teammate's put the ball in the net, why is one disallowed and why is one allowed? That's what I'm saying.
I know it shouldn't be, but see, I'm trying to remember the position.
They should both
the boy
be
in the Falkirk game.
Yeah.
But the position of Casper Who. Right?
Yeah, the ball comes into the box with that one.
But he's on the deck, Casper Who, so his hand's down here. So it hits him
even jumping for the ball, he tries to head the ball, right? That's what the Falkirk one. It comes off the arm, maybe, because let's be honest, it was still inconclusive. Ran through to the other boy, and he puts the ball in at the back post. Now, Casper Who doesn't do anything wrong in terms of he's trying to get the ball in the net. But there's no doubt that the ball hit his hand. It hits the hand and pushes the ball towards his teammate.
He's not intentionally handballed it, though.
I didn't say he did. No. But if he doesn't handle that ball unintentionally, the ball does not go anywhere near Camilo Duran. The ball is going to the right back.
That's right.
And that's where you're like, where is the consistency? Because you cannot tell me that it's an accidental handball on both instances. The next touch of the ball goes into the net on both instances.
People will say
two different decisions
are made. Because it's a goal for Celtic, that's why it counted. I don't believe that.
But you can understand that thought because Falkirk were robbed.
I said that at the time, yeah, as well. I agreed with you.
But if we're saying that is that's the rules, right? And let's be honest, we seen last week with the Rangers Hibs game, they'll apply the rules wherever the hell they want to suit whatever they want. Because I've seen 4 or 5 instances in that League Cup.
It should be a rule across the board.
Where there should be penalties, and there was worse ones than the Hibs one. And we'll come to some of them because they're in games that we're still to talk about. Right. But let's move on from that one because it was given, but my issue with it isn't that it's given; it's that it's given and Falkirk's wasn't.
Aye,
there's no consistency.
The 2 goals should be given. Really,
we've only had 3 games. And we can't even get a very similar. And for Willie Collum to say that the incidents are not similar, he's a fucking moron.
They are similar.
Because it's an accidental handball that's led to a teammate putting the ball in the net.
Aye. But as I said, that should be it should have been a goal for Falkirk, and obviously the Celtic goal should count because I think that he's accidentally handballed it.
I can agree with that, but you can understand why people are saying, well, Falkirk doesn't count, that shouldn't count. And I get 2 wrongs don't make a right, but
they knew that they've done this. They need to be consistent with it now. They've done this.
And as I said, they need to be consistent with these pulling at penalties because I've seen loads of them yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
But fair play to Celtic, they won, but credit to Dundee United because they hit the frame of the goal 5 times.
5 times, yeah. On another day, could have been different. Could have been a lot more goals.
I'm not saying another day they won 5-4, right? Because football's not like that. Aye. But in another day, they get 1 or 2 goals. And let's be honest, see if they'd scored first, you might have got a different game.
Probably.
And they hit the post twice before you scored.
The incident you just spoke about, though, with the handball and the Camilo Duran goal, see if that goal doesn't count, I still think we're going to win the game anyway, regardless of whether that counts.
Because Dundee United were just, it was one of those nights where you just go, it's not their night. Because when you hit the post twice, you hit the bar 3 times, you've got deliberate handballs that just fortunately hit the wrong bit of the arm, and then accidental handballs go straight to a teammate. You're like, it's not your night. It's just one of those days you need to go, Dundee United, you did everything right, but it's not your night.
Aye.
You move on and you hope that you get better.
Take your medicine, sour grapes, get on with it.
And I'm sure when they go to the Dundee Derby next week, they'll be looking for...
I hope they win.
Excuse me. They'll be looking to get a bit more luck because their luck was out.
I hope they do.
On to Sunday, because that's just done 4 of the games.
Aye.
Right, we'll start with the 2 o'clock. So... Hearts Inverness, I feel like I'm going to repeat myself from the Killeair one, that the championship team did really well for about 80 minutes and found themselves.
Then the legs went.
2-1 up, and then legs went, momentum. It just sort of went against them. But credit to Hearts though, because some of the actual goals they scored were excellent.
They were good.
Calvin Miller's ability, I mean, I think he's excellent. But in fact, when we come on to talk about the Scotland manager, he's a player that should be in that squad.
I was Celtic that went for him as a backup left back.
Just to see, because he can play left back, left wing, attacking mid, and if we're talking about that 3-4-1-2, he's a player that can play the left. He could play the one. And
put it this way: he needs to be in the form he's in. Pocognoli, I was going to say Pocognoli has to pick him in the next squad that he does. He really has to.
Especially when some of the players who maybe had that position, like Kenny McLean, players like that, it's the end of those cycles,
Aye.
I don't want to see Kenny McLean's, Grant Hanley's.
What age is Calvin Miller? He's not exactly young either, is he?
No, but he's a lot younger than Kenny McLean.
Wow, aye.
He's not 34, and I don't want to see...
He was at Celtic years ago as a kid. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how old he is now, mind you, but he was...
I think he's about 26.
Oh, is he? Right. So he's not that old then. I thought he was about 30, maybe. But he's not.
I think... No. But I think... I have to say, the Inverness boys that stood out was that Alfie Bavidge looks a real player. The way he took that second goal was an absolute peach. I mean... The pace to get in behind, but the composure to go round the keeper and slide it into the net was excellent.
Aye, that was really good.
And I think from Hearts' point of view, it's probably good for them to see James Wilson on the pitch, because obviously he went down to Tottenham, didn't he, on loan and didn't really get any game time. And he's sort of been talked about as Scotland's next big thing, and then he sort of fell away. McInnes clearly didn't fancy him last year because he didn't use him at all. But maybe this... Belgian manager will be more of a manager looking to use youth.
I would hope so, because we still need experience in there, but we need a bit of youth as well.
But yeah, so I think credit to Hearts though, because they sort of showed their sort of Premiership experience and also I like it when a team like Stephen, they get 3-2 that they don't stop. They go 4-2, 5-2, 6-2. I want to see teams go.
At least Kelly Thistle gave it a go. They did give it a go.
Oh, they did. But I'm just saying from Hearts' point of view, I quite like teams being a bit ruthless and sort of going like, I feel sorry for you, but, fuck you at the same time.
Aye.
Because, the Hearts haven't had the greatest start to the season. So, there'll be a lot of players, squad players there that'll be thinking, James Wilson, Mato, McPake will be thinking, we've got European games coming up here. Get me in there. So, credit where it's due to Hearts. Let's talk about Hibs, Partick, because I think there's only 2 things really to talk about. The Hibs goal, lovely goal.
Nice goal.
Back post. I think he is an absolute excellent young player, by the way. I think Owen Eldings, he's Irish.
He's Irish. I thought he was English or Scottish.
He's Irish, and I think... I'm not sure he's ready for Celtic yet, but I think it's somebody Celtic will be keeping a very close eye on. Because
what age is he?
God, let me
He
just
must
check.
be.
He's young, though. He's 21, 22, maybe at most.
Right.
Let me just check.
Did they just sign him?
Yeah. No, he came last year. And he's 20.
Because he just appeared on the scene. I mean, I
Look,
don't remember seeing him last year.
He came to Sligo over in Ireland.
Right.
And I like him. And let's be honest, I don't want to talk about it, but last week at Ibrox, he changed the game. When he came on the last 10 minutes, they got a bit of a foothold. And it was somebody who could hold up the ball, and he plays the pass, I think, for the goal. So I think he looks an excellent player. But what did you make of Parthick's penalty, non-penalty? Because to me, it's a penalty. His hand is high side.
Does it no hit the leg and then up onto the hand?
I see no evidence of it actually hitting the leg. Now, I think that's what they're saying, but
it looked like that on VAR. It did look a wee bit like that, but I wasn't 100% sure.
Is there enough evidence to overturn that, though?
No.
Because it was given on field, and that's the thing for me that was the biggest issue. The referee gave it, and VAR are obviously saying it's because it hits the leg first, but I don't think that's a clear and obvious error, because if it does, right, we're talking about ball hairs, like of
and then we know what the camera angles are like. I know the greatest the camera. Some of them look grainy and
I've got to admit, Partick Thistle have been absolutely done in recent times by VAR, because obviously a championship time. But when they come up last year, do you remember they got a penalty given against them at St Mirren that was a ridiculous handball?
Was that the playoff?
No, it was in the cup game. And then even in the playoffs, a couple of things went against them.
They've been robbed in the playoffs. I know. I want them up to I would love to see them getting promoted, but it's not happening, is it?
I feel bad for them, because that one for me, I think should stay as a penalty on-field decision, because I didn't see a clear and obvious error there.
It looked like a penalty.
It might have brushed his knee onto the hand, but not enough. I mean, either way, though.
But does it look? That's what I'm saying. Does it look as if the ball changes direction at any point?
No.
Right. Well, if it's not looked as if it's changed direction, then it should be a penalty.
I think they've been harshly treated. On to the biggest shock. Stenhousemuir against Motherwell. Credit. I'm going to say credit to. I know he doesn't play as a manager, but credit to Marvin Bartlett.
Marvin Bartlett.
He did quite well with Livingston, I think it'd be fair to say.
I thought he get treated like shite by Livingston.
And then he gets. Well, there seems to be a disagreement about the way they want the club to go in the future in the championship, and he leaves his post. But he's taking on, obviously, from Gary Naismith, in it, who obviously got a higher job, and I think he's doing a great job so far. And they look like a well-run club, and I have to say, I think they're going to be not this year, but in a couple of years, I think they could be on the verge of maybe the SPL.
Possibly.
Because if you look at how well they've been run over the last few years, they won the League One last year. They seem to be just getting better and better and better. I don't think it's going to be like a Livingston one. Remember they came through all the way to the bottom to the top.
This is my ignorance though as well. I mean, where is Stenhousemuir? I'm trying to
it's kind of not too far from like Falkirk and that.
Right. So it's a wee town in there somewhere.
No.
Right.
It's a lovely wee stadium walk of you. You remember Albert, as a Rangers fan, we went through them all.
Old school, proper old school stadium.
Yeah, and I just think credit to them, and obviously getting through the draw has given them obviously a tie. So we'll talk about the other ones before we go into the Rangers game. But obviously, Kilmarnock Aberdeen we spoke about. I think that's a 50-50 tie. Maybe favour Kilmarnock just because they're at home.
Yep.
Ross County Hibs, you've got to favour Hibs. Just better squad of player. Stenhousemuir Hearts. I think Stenny will give it a right good go, but I think
Hearts will have too much for them.
Probably edge it, and then obviously we'll get to Rangers Celtic. On to obviously Rangers. Another game where a team won with 4 goals, but it really wasn't a 4-goal win. Not to take anything away for Rangers, because Rangers played well, but so did St Mirren. And they missed a penalty and they had another few chances where they looked good. Like maybe just the final pass, final cross, final shot, was a bit pish, but St Mirren have something about them. Like they really do. And there was a couple of players that stood out for me for St Mirren. Obviously, the boy Sula, a big handful. Ramos looks good. And Mockery, what a goal Mockery scored. Like in that game, I think you've seen two of the best goals of the round. Maybe the third one was Negrin. Yeah, I don't really care what order you put it in, but all excellent finishes. But Mockery, the way Mockery cuts across that ball, like you just go, you can't stop that.
Dragojevic's goal was a good one.
Absolute brilliant technique.
Is that how you say his name? Is it Dragojevic?
Dragojevic or Dragojevic, depends what you want. Right. But on to Rangers. There was improvements. There was same old issues. But
does it make them world beaters?
No, but I think that's the first time this season we've been able to play with a left back, a right back, and two wingers, right? I mean, natural left back, right back, and two wingers, and you could see a difference. Penrice made a big difference, just in terms of being left-footed and having full energy. When you have like Sterling or McCrory try to play left back, it's not there. It's a bit like if you just put Ralston to left back, it doesn't work.
Penrice wasn't at Hearts with McInnes, wasn't he? Because he
No, he was.
I didn't think that.
He was before McInnes took over. He went. Well, I think McInnes might have sold him because I think he went to AK Athens when McInnes got the job.
Okay,
but
I wasn't too sure.
He looks a good player. He looks an SPL player. But I've said before, Rangers need more of the sort of players that get it and know what the league's about, rather than players who have got 1 foot in the door and 1 foot out, thinking about what better they can get,
I think in order to get something better, they need to play well to get a better move.
I get that, but you see it all the time with sort of players that come into a league and you think Rangers are a stepping stone to the Premiership.
Look at the majority. Look at the players that you've had, Morelos, all these other players that have come in.
Yeah, but he was excellent though, and
but he never got a move to England.
No, he didn't. But I think some of that was probably down to the injury. I think the injury when in that UEFA Cup final run.
I think his attitude wasn't very good.
A wee bit, but I do think that injury he never came back the same.
Probably
when he missed that UEFA Cup run. See, he was immense in Dortmund, then immense at home to Dortmund. I think we beat Red Star, and I think he got injured in between those two legs, and he never obviously came back that season. And I don't think he was ever the same. And he's one of those strikers that when he gets an injury, he probably puts on about 30 pounds. Like a UFC fighter or a boxer after a fight. But when Morelos put that weight back on, he never got it back off. I don't think, because I know people used to always say he was fat, but it was his body shape. But genuinely, when he came back, he was fat. Like, he was. And he never got it back. And he never got that sharpness back. But onto that, though, I think there's some good players in that Rangers team. Dragojevic looks excellent. Macania looks top quality. But unfortunately, some of these good players have been surrounded by morons, like Fernandez, who doesn't want to be there. Raskin, I love Raskin, right? But his heat's not there. He actually went in for a 50-50 yesterday, right? And went, I'm not going for that.
Shut it.
Because he's thinking, but then that's how you get injured. And I know we've obviously seen it with Chamiti. He was really that Chamiti injury can happen anywhere, right? It's not his fault. It's a complete accident. It's a freak accident. He tried to avoid the boards, and it happens. But by going half-assed, you're going to pick up an injury.
You're probably going to pick up an injury going in, merging in half-assed, and you've all got going full throttle to it. And
by the way, I think we can all admit, right, that Nico Raskin is a very good player. Is he suited to Rangers? I don't know. Can he go to a better league and do well? Absolutely. Will he be a star in a better league? Don't know. But I do think there's a player who could go to the Premiership and comfortably hold his own. But he would need to be in the right team who play a certain way.
I don't think he goes to a top 4 English side. It'll be a middle of the road, an Everton or something like that.
I agree, right? But I think he would be better at like a Man U than he would be at a.
But Man U for me should be top 4, top 5.
They should, but I don't think they are currently.
But they'll get there. They will get there, hopefully.
They will, with better recruitment. But either way, my point is that you wouldn't use a Raskin at Man U against Ipswich because you want your players to be able to attack, right? But you might use him against Arsenal when you're sitting there going, it's a bit of battle, and it's his job's to win the ball and give it to Tielemans and Bruno. Good boss. But what I would say though is Rangers need to sell the players who don't want to be here, and if that's Raskin and Fernandes, you sell them and you go and replace them.
What about Suter? You know, selling him?
Well, I think we are. I think the problem with Suter is just I think he was meant to go to Leicester, right? Because Harry Suter, his brother, was meant to be leaving Leicester, but that deal hasn't happened yet. So I think there's a couple of things that are waiting to fall into place.
Could the two of them not play in the same team? No,
they could, but I think Leicester don't have the budget for it. So Leicester are wanting John Suter to replace Harry Suter.
Are the two of them centre halves?
Aye, maybe they just want to keep the letters and maybe they'll try to save money and just go, it's easier to change that H to a J.
Or just give him the. I mean, I don't know how tall he is in terms of weight.
He's not as big as his brother.
Could maybe just put Suter on the back, and he's obviously got his brother's jersey.
But
same number.
I think Suter will leave. I think there's some other ones who will leave, but Rangers need to get the wee bits of quality in because obviously drawing Celtic in the Cup quarter final, it's probably the toughest draw you could get. I don't think anyone's going to argue that. But what I would say is it's probably the best time to get Celtic is if you can get them at home rather than away or at a neutral stadium.
Let's be honest about it. We all knew you were getting drawn at Ibrox because when was the last time you did a League Cup draw?
In the Scottish Cup.
Be honest about it.
No, the League Cup we've had a mental run.
That's what I mean.
But in the Scottish Cup we get a fair amount of away draws. But in the League Cup, it's been
ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, right?
Can he be doing to just luck or anything like that? It's just that's.
I think when you get down to 8 teams, right, 4 are going to be home, 4 are going to be away.
These are always at home. These are never away.
But either way, though, I think in terms of a draw, Rangers would probably rather play Celtic at home.
And we know what's going to happen as well now. We know what's going to happen because of what happened last season. Now we're going to get a shitty allocation, and we'll be in that pizza slice in the corner.
Yeah, and I imagine because of how Celtic treated the Union, the Union Bears, I think Rangers will be petty and say that the Green Brigade can't come because let's be honest, we've got 2.
But it's a cup game, so it's different. Is it no different for cup games?
No, because Rangers will just say that Celtic can't give out any tickets to the Green Brigade. But by the way, it's just tit for tat and it's pettiness.
And it's a lot of shite.
But the both is bad each other when it comes to things like, because I think even you agreed there was no need for Celtic to do that last time. You need trust. You need trust.
We need to rise above shit like that. We don't want to lower ourselves to other people's levels.
But in saying that though, if it is Celtic fans who aren't the Green Brigade, I don't see why they could.
How do you know they're not the Green Brigade? They could
no, but if it wasn't them, I think there's less chance of trouble. Because I do think that it's that element of Celtic fans that ran on the pitch, just like it was the Union Bears that ran on the pitch for Rangers. I think if you had the game at Celtic Park, I think you would be happy as a club to give Rangers 5,000 fans that aren't going to cause trouble. And I think Rangers would equally allow fans who aren't going to cause trouble. But I don't think that Rangers or Celtic can trust their ultras, if you want to call them that.
I thought they should admit. I mean, to me, you're not going to fucking agree with me here, but I think the cup draws are all fixed, right? I believe they're a fix, and the people that will be raging about this are the Polish. They wouldn't have wanted a Celtic Rangers game now. They'd have wanted them kept apart until at least Hampden. Yeah, that way Hampden's a bit different. Yeah,
it is, but at the same time, the draw is what it is, and we need to get on with it. And it looks like we're going to have a double header. But I think
this is what I hate about Scottish football as well, Murray. This repetitiveness of playing each other loads of times, and that's 2 weeks in the trot. So something could happen in the cup game that could simmer out to the league game, and then that's mere trouble. You know what I mean?
What I would say though is, on the good side of it for both teams, is that the transfer window will be closed 10 days before the first game. So
10 days before the cup game.
Yeah. So
that's good.
I think that's quite good. That I think there can be no excuses about.
Hopefully not.
No, I'm not saying that, but I think whenever we have these opening, derby matches, it's like match day 4, and the window isn't closed, and
we don't know who our squads are going to be.
Exactly, and half the time I don't think it's a real reflection. I mean, I remember a few years ago when Pocognoli took over, he had half a squad at Parkhead, at Ibrox, and some of your signings get made 2 or 3 days later.
I
think Kyogo played, but some of the other ones that came after him,
we've discussed this as well. I mean,
I want the
transfer one day to shut before your football season kicks off.
I think last season, Chimiti signed the day after the Bourne 0-0 game.
I think you said that as well, didn't you? You'd prefer the because the reason for that is because that way you know that your team is, you're not going to have this problem of you've played Engels or whoever in a couple of games and then they're going to fuck off.
I think the problem is you'd need to get everyone aligned, because the English league would still want your players though. Do you know what I mean?
But every single transfer window should close before their league season kicks off.
I agree, but I would be quite happy if we kept the loans open all season. Because
the same thing happened with us with Mattarelli. He played a few games for us and then he left.
Would you not have it like that if you could still loan players?
Keep a loan window open for a certain period of time. Look, for emergency loans, I believe in all the time, but
because it's loans, isn't it? It's like,
but then you're only allowed so many loans.
You can't go with a limit, but at the same time, though, if you know you've got another 1 or 2 to use and you get 2 left back injured, you can just go to the market.
What you're saying is, I know what you're saying. So it's like loans for an emergency purpose only. If you get an injury or something, and you need to bring in. That would be good.
Because I know you can do it with goalkeepers. That's something you can do anyway. But I'm just saying, Celtic have 1 left back right now, right? And let's just say the window closed today, right? And they've only got Tierney, and then Scales can kind of play there. But if Scales is suspended, right, and Tierney gets injured,
it's
no, but I'm just saying, wouldn't you like to be able to go into the market and go and get a left back?
Aye,
so I'm sure there'd be one in England that you can go, right, okay, I'm going to get this guy for 2 months to cover us.
Aye, emergency loan type thing. Aye.
Yeah, but I think, I mean that we'll talk more about the derby closer to the match. I don't think there's any point in previewing it right now, because I think our squads will look so much different.
It will be different. Mm-hmm.
But if we move on, obviously, we'll quickly talk about the 5 Euro ties this week. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it's only the first leg, so there's no point doing predictions about who's going to go through. But let's just see how you think the first leg will go. We'll just
we've got a clearer idea at the end of the week, probably.
So Celtic at home to Lask. I think Celtic will take a lead. I think it'll be a narrow lead, because I think Lask are all right. I think Celtic will win 2-1. If I'm being honest, I just think that there's not much between the two teams.
I don't know how good this team are, and I don't know how bad they are, because I've never really watched them, and I don't know much about them.
If you're going on that they're slightly better than Sturm Graz, who you beat 2-1 last year.
I'll go one more than you. I'll say we'll still concede a goal, but I think we'll win 3-1. Just because of the form we've been in recently, with the goals we're scoring and that, I think we'll score 3.
On to Thursday, we'll start with, probably the easiest one to start with, Rangers Jablonec. I think this is...
Are you worried?
No. I think Rangers, I'm not saying that they certainly didn't throw it against Jagiellonia, but I think Rangers have been wanting a crack at this Conference League, because the difference in income isn't that much. It's not that much smaller.
But there's all English teams in it as well. Who's the English teams that are in
it? Brighton.
Surely Brighton would be better than Rangers, you'd imagine.
Brighton and maybe Bournemouth, or maybe. But I'm not worried about English teams. You if you're going to win it, you need to play them. It's about like getting Celtic in a cup game. You need to beat them. But I just think it's a competition that Rangers can go in and potentially win 4 or 5 games. Whereas in the Europa League, I think with this squad, I'm not convinced to do.
I'm wanting you to get into that
coefficient-wise
conference, but I'm wanting you to get in, no for coefficient purposes, well, probably for that anyway. But the reason I want you in it is because I want you. I've obviously, if we get into the Champions League, which I hope we do, you will be playing.
But you might
every Sunday.
I
hope we don't know, but at the minute we've got a chance of getting into the Champions League, so let's keep that chance. But that's the reason why, so that we're always playing before you.
I just think with Rangers, though, I think Conference League this year they could really make a dent in it.
And then hopefully Thursday, Sunday football, you'll maybe it might happen with us or not.
We've got a massive squad, though.
Come back for a European game and you might struggle in the league. I don't know.
Rangers have struggled in all their games anyway, so I don't think having European games makes any difference. I think Rangers still need to learn how to play domestically. So I do think though that the Conference League would be a good thing. I think Rangers will. I don't think it will be like a 4 or 5-0, but I think Rangers will probably win. I'm going to say 2-0 and be pretty comfortable.
Is the first leg away or at home?
Ibrox.
All right.
So I think Rangers will take a 2-goal lead over, and I think it'll be 2-0.
I'm like that. I know with this because I prefer the first leg away. If I'm honest.
Yeah, so that. But you need to take it how the draw comes out. You know, it's just how the boys come out. Mm-hmm. So no, I think 2-0 Rangers.
Right.
What are you going with?
2-1 Rangers. I think Jablonec will score.
Right, so let's go with the other home games. So you've got Motherwell, Freiburg. I think Motherwell are going to get a score draw. I think they'll go out in the tie. I think they'll lose maybe 3-0 over in Germany. But I think at home they'll be really competitive, and that side seems to be playing well. And I just think they'll do enough to stay in the tie. I don't think they'll go through, right? But I think they'll get a draw. So I'm going to say, bit like obviously Hearts getting one against Benfica. I think sometimes it's just about the tie, and I think Freiburg will be happy with a draw to take them back to Germany, and you'd imagine they'd win. I'll say one each.
I think they'll be lucky to get a draw. I think Freiburg are a decent side.
No, they are. I just think also their week hasn't started yet. And things like that. I think Motherwell have probably played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games.
All right. On the basis of that, then
and I think that
Motherwell maybe sneak it 2-1.
Yeah, but also remember, Hearts had played a few games and Benfica hadn't, and Benfica still pumped them 6-1.
Then this is just daft predictions. We don't know anything.
No. On to Hearts Rapid Vienna. I'm going on the basis, right, that Rapid Vienna aren't as good as Lask or Sturm Graz, right? And Sturm Graz.
What makes you say that?
Well, I'm just saying on the league position, right?
Right.
Because, Lask won the league, Sturm Graz were second.
So you don't think they're better than Hearts, though?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they're not as good as those teams who, obviously, Sturm Graz pumped Hearts, right?
I know they did, aye.
And I'm obviously going to go on the fact that Dundee United took them all the way to penalties last year.
But had Sturm Graz's league no kicked off yet at that point, no?
Yeah, I think it had.
Well, that's obviously a factor in it as well.
But I don't think that they're that good. But I don't think Hearts are that good either. But I do think the fact that Hearts, since they're pumping in Benfica, they've won 4-0.
Well, they've been pumped twice. Pumped off Sturm Graz and
since then. I'm saying since then they've beaten Dundee United 4-0.
Aye.
They have got a 1-1 with Benfica, and then they've beaten Inverness 6-2. So they should be going in and quite.
Well, they did get a 1-1. They scored, didn't they? And it got chopped off, and then they scored again.
I think they should be going in. Well, they're going in a lot more confident than they did the Benfica tie, right?
Let's be honest though, they got a 1-1 draw against Benfica because Benfica were not trying, and it was a training exercise.
I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying about players' morale, confidence, and I think that the players will be in a better headspace. Calvin Miller scored 3 in the last 4.
How many penalties was it? But 2 though.
Don't matter. They all count, just like the count with half. They all count with everyone, right? So I think they'll be in a good place. So I'm going to say they win 1-0. I'm not sure it's going to be enough though, but I think they'll win 1-0.
I'll go 2-1 to Rapid Vienna.
Okay, and the last one, Ghent against Hibs. I think this is tough because it's in Belgium, but I don't know that Ghent.
Ghent certainly are.
They're not of the Union Saint Gaulois, Club Bruges, or the other is Genk, who are a bit better.
Aye.
So I think Hibs will lose 2-1, but I think they'll be happy with that. You know, away to Belgium, if they come back with just a narrow defeat, it gives them they want, put it this way, all 5 teams just want to be in the tie.
Aye. But then they'll need to defend well.
Yeah, but I still think Hibs have looked okay in all their games. I don't think they've looked great, but I think they'll lose 2-1, but I think they'll be right in it for the second leg.
I'm tending to agree with you. I think they will lose. It probably will be a narrow defeat. I'm hoping it's a narrow defeat. I'm hoping it's not going to be like 3-1 or anything like that.
Next week for an opportunity to get group stage football.
Yep.
Because whether you like any of these teams or not,
as long as they keep themselves in the tie this week, then they will have a chance.
We could do with 5 teams in the group stage. I don't think we'll get it, but how great would it be?
Oh, it would be brilliant.
If we could get 4 teams in that conference league, that'd be amazing. I mean, absolutely amazing.
Aye.
Because there's opportunity to win the odd game.
That's right. And then you never know where that might take you.
Exactly. And Hearts still look a reasonably decent team at home. I think that's fair to say. They don't quite look great away from home. But then they never did last year. It was the home form that, you know, and but you have to say the home games, even with draw against Benfica, you know, the Sturm Graz one, I know they lost 2-0, but they were right in the match. But the tie was over, so they kind of almost went for it too much to try and get a result. But I don't think we would lose to Sturm Graz at home in a one-off game.
If Hearts were to get into the European competition proper,
I think they could win some games.
They could, but I think because of that, by them playing in Europe, their league position
not just
suffer. I know that, but the league position will suffer because I know that, but they'll not have it all their own way that they did last season.
No, not a chance. I think it would be brilliant for Scottish football.
It would be good. It'd be good for Scottish football. Yeah. At
least 4.
Aye.
If one miss out and it's Motherwell because of a horrible draw against Freiburg, but come on, I would love to see Hibs or Hearts win a 50-50 tie.
They beat HJK Helsinki, didn't they?
And that was a good one.
I never thought they were going to beat them, and they beat them. So you never know.
But let's be honest, I think Hearts have a 50-50 tie with Rapid, and I think Hibs with Genk is slightly less than 50-50, but it's not like Freiburg.
No, Freiburg's decent.
They're a team that if they get through, they'll be favourites.
They were in the final of a European competition.
The one up.
The Europa League.
Huh? So they
couldn't remember whether it was one or the other.
They'll instantly be one of the 4 or 5 favourites to win it.
Aye.
So one of them will knock them out and help Rangers' chance of winning it. But on to Scotland though. It's a risky appointment. I think we all know that.
It is, yeah.
Appoint any 39-year-old to international football, I think, is a risky one.
Yeah.
But we often accuse the SFA of being stubborn, unadventurous.
Palsy-walsy.
Yeah, and this time they've went outside the box. We've been saying, go with a foreign coach.
I didn't want the Berry Volks one to scare them off. Exactly.
So fair play to the SFA, but I do think that comes from the fact that Craig Mulholland's making the decisions. He's quite a progressive character. Like he was at Rangers not as a big. He sort of did their academy stuff. He was our academy director, but he implemented really good changes. It was just a shame that the people running the club were years behind him.
Well, it's good that he's in there and he's more forward thinking than quite a lot.
Yeah, and my only worry is that we've went for a Russell Martin type philosophy manager.
Right.
Somebody that's stuck to a formation of 3-4-1-2, like the way Amarin was at Man United.
But this is a Nations League we're getting into next, isn't it? It's no qualifiers.
And I'm worried that Scotland don't have the players to play free at the back.
Well, we might know, but the next games that we're going to play, is it going to be the Nations League?
Yeah.
Well, that's the games to try. That's the games to try this in.
I'll tell you our next games, because we've got. Remember, it's a bit different this year. There's not as many international breaks, and you play them all at once.
Well,
so it's more like you get a month off, and you get like 6 games.
Yeah.
But the first games they've got is Slovenia away on the 26th of September.
Mm-hmm.
Switzerland at home on the 29th.
Right.
Macedonia away on the 3rd of October.
Right.
Slovenia at home on the 6th of October. So it's 4 games.
Right, okay.
So I think 4 games in a camp.
Is that two international breaks or just one?
Just one.
Oh, is it? 4 games?
Yep, so they've merged it so that you don't go 2 games, go back for 2 weeks, 2 games.
Oh,
so you've basically got 4 games over the space
of fucking domestic season as well, and I hate it. That
you've got 4 games over the space of like 2 or 3 weeks, right?
Right.
And then you've got a month back, and then you've got 2 games. But that's the whole campaign done in the space of September and November.
Right, good. Because it means that there's no break in October then?
No. The 6th of October, it does go into it, aye.
For the rest of the month. And then when in November is it?
From the 26th of September to the 6th of October. So that's what, 10 days?
Aye.
11 days. You play 4 games. So that's hard going. And then you've got a November one, which is 2 games in 4 days. I like it. But I think for somebody who's a progressive type manager, I think he'll need that kind of time with the players. Now, on paper, right, away to Slovenia, home to Switzerland, away to Macedonia, home to Slovenia. I don't think they're the hardest games, but they're also not easy. There's no that's a banker.
There's no easy games.
But I do think we're a better team than Slovenia. So I'd expect us to try and get 4 points off them, right?
I would say so.
I think Macedonia, we should be beaten. I watched Wales beat them 6-1.
It'll depend on if the players can adapt to this formation as well. Look at what Wilfred Nancy did with Celtic. I mean, I just hope that doesn't happen.
I know, but just because something didn't work doesn't mean you shouldn't try.
I know. We need to try it. And
my worry is that Scotland don't have the Scotland don't have the players for it, but also that some of those players are setting Steve Clarke's ways.
Yeah. The older ones, especially the older ones, anyway.
That they won't be as open to change. Like, will John McGinn want to be told he's playing right wing back?
Probably not.
Like, I'm just saying, because where do you fit him into that team? Because in a 3-4-1-2, you imagine that one is McTominay, right?
I mean, it seems like a good formation. The 4 obviously could become a back 6. No, a back.
Well, it could become a
back 5. Back 5, not 6. I'm getting mixed up. A back 5. I suppose that's good in that sense. If we're under attack, then you've got a back 5 possibly.
Like, this was my team on paper, right? When I just sort of looked at it, right? I thought Gunn's still our best goalie. I had a back 3 of Tierney, McKenna, and Hendry. Right? I'm going on the World Cup. They were the best. Well, I think he'd be my backup. Well over Suter now because he's playing at Swansea. In my 4 in midfield, I went Robertson, Gilmore, Ferguson, and this is where I've got a wee bit of a tricky one, because would you put Gannon Doak or Curtis as a right wing back? I think I would, because they're young and they can be taught.
They can be adapted into it. It's like the way Greg Taylor adapted to the inverted fullback under Ange.
The other option is that you put McGinn out there because he will put in a shift.
You've also got Greg Taylor as well. He could come into the Scotland squad.
Well, not just that. Even if you look at Penrice's performance the other day, he's another one I don't think we should rule out, because Andy Robertson was terrible. maybe we should be looking beyond him.
What age is Andy Robertson now? I mean,
34.
Well, it's about time he get.
And then I think McTominay would be the one, but the strikers worry me a wee bit because.
Well, you've got your Adams, Dykes.
Well, I don't want to see Dykes in the squad anymore because let's be honest, that was like a Steve Clark guy.
What age is he, Dykes?
He's in his 30s.
Is he? Right.
So Adams, I'm still fine with. I think we need to get Robbie Ure in there. He's just moved to Sevilla. He should be in our Scotland squad.
I'm trying to think of strikers that could maybe. I'm
not
Bugger Shankland. He's kind of shite.
Well, he's certainly not playing well enough yet
no.
at Rangers. But the likes of young James Wilson at Hearts is somebody that if he can start playing football regularly.
Who was it? Barney Stewart?
I don't know how he's getting on down south, but obviously he's moved down there, isn't he? So he's another one. But I think
he's one that the manager can look at, I suppose.
Yeah. But or what about this an alternative though? Say you do play Garandol or Curtis at right wing back and you put McGinn in the 10. What about McTominay as a striker?
Well, he scores goals, doesn't he? So
yeah, because I think he doesn't look as good when the further back you put him.
It's worth a goal.
Just put him up there.
Aye.
With somebody with a bit of movement.
Because I suppose he can play as a striker because he has scored lots of goals.
So that wouldn't surprise me if you've seen McTominay as part of the two. But then I don't know how set this guy is on that formation. We'll find out.
Aye.
But it worries me that he has a formation, right, that's determined, or that you'd imagine you have to have good centre-backs and good strikers for. And that's the two weakest positions with Scotland.
Do you know what I'm worried about? I know. I mean, I'm going to bring up the whole Wilfred Nancy thing here, whereas he was rigid with that. That was his formation, and he was sticking with that, and he wouldn't change it. And this is what this guy's going to do, I think, as well.
Yeah, and this is what Russell Martin was like as well. He refused to change, and what happens? You lose your job.
But what happens if we're playing a game and he's got this formation that he lives by, right?
I always think you should look at what players you've got.
Something happens within the game and you go, I'll need to change this. I'll need to go with a back four and I'll need to maybe tweak it a bit. But he won't.
Well, look at Rangers, right? Let's be honest. A blind man could see, right, that Rangers do not have the players to play 4-4-2. But as soon as they go to 4-3-3 yesterday, they instantly look a bit better because you've just got an extra body in midfield. So maybe mediocre players don't look so mediocre.
I think
because you've just got an extra body. There's a reason Celtic play 4-3-3. Well, it's because it papers over certain cracks. Callum McGregor couldn't play 4-4-2.
But I think Murray, come the end of this window, I'm thinking that we will change our formation. It'll either be a 4-4-2 or a 3-5-2.
But you can't do that with Callum McGregor. You cannot play McGregor in a two-man midfield. He's too old. He doesn't have the legs.
But we need to bring somebody in then. Like Bauer could maybe play his position. I don't know.
But look at the biggest. What was the biggest flaw of Nancy's campaign? It was the fact that Callum McGregor was in his
one centre off.
His two centre midfielders.
No, but he played with one centre off.
Yes, he was putting fullbacks at centre back, which was mental. But also the fact is, he had Callum McGregor try to put out fires everywhere, and he didn't have the legs for it.
That's right.
And let's be honest, I've watched Rangers do the same thing. They've tried to put, let's be honest, I'm not going to diss certain players, right? But Devlin is a limited footballer, right? I think that's fair to say, right?
For me,
he cannot play.
He's a squad player for you. He's not like a starter, right?
Yeah, I agree. But where are you going to get the best out of him, though? It's not in a midfield two. Because a midfield two, you need to both be technically good. In a midfield three, can you get away with two technically good players and a wee guy running about? Aye. But for me, and this is my worry with Pocognoli, is that if he's so set on this formation, does he have the players for it? Now, don't get me wrong. Ferguson and Gilmore, I couldn't actually think of two better players to do that. Constantly running and controlling a football.
Well, as long as they're fit. As long as they're fit.
Yeah, that's the problem. Gilmore has picked up injuries every season.
He's never fit. He's a good player. Gilmore's a good player, but he's just never fit.
Ferguson needs to be at a club where he's playing every game. And last season, now I know that he was a wee bit unlucky at Bologna last year because obviously had the bad injury the year before, and they signed somebody to take his place. It's a problem, isn't it? It's not his fault.
What's going on with Ryan Gold these days? He disappeared, didn't he?
He's still over in America.
Is he? He's not getting a game for Scotland, is he?
No, not at all. But I don't know. It'll be very interesting when it comes round to see.
What did you think his interview when he came across? I mean,
I thought he spoke well. I thought he seems like a passionate guy.
Aye, I like that about him. He's got the kind of passion there, but we'll see how that
like
transpires.
Anything, the proof is in the pudding. You know, I'm going to say something. Like Russell Martin spoke well.
So did Wilfred Nancy.
See when it came to deliver, it was powder puff.
Well, at the beginning, Wilfred Nancy spoke well when he came in at first. Before we played a game, he sounded as if he knew what he was talking about, but then he didn't.
Let's be honest, I don't want to be harsh on him because it's only 4 or 5 games, but Derek McInnes speaks well.
Well,
we see if we don't get results, nobody's going to care if he's a fan. Because that fan becomes fan A if you don't get results. Because people, Barry Ferguson, right? I loved it when he was in charge in that interim period because I knew there was someone there who got it. And
he's a bit of a fanny as well, though.
No, but what you want is a mixture of somebody. Look, you want the players to feel the hurt that the fans feel when you lose, right? And sometimes when you've got managers who don't have any affiliation with the club, they don't care. Like, I bet you if Celtic lose, right, to Lask, Martin will hurt.
Aye.
Sean Maloney will hurt.
Well, you could say the same thing, but they've just appointed a Belgian guy to manage Scotland, so if we get beat...
No, but I'm just saying, though, but this is my worry, though. I think you need to surround them with people who get it.
Well, he's going to have Kevin Morales, is it, as his assistant?
Yeah, but
and then
I would have liked...
Is it Naismith, maybe, is it?
Naismith's staying around, and I've heard rumours that Duncan Ferguson could be...
I heard that as well.
21.
I heard that as well.
But I would like Scott Brown in there. I wouldn't even mind his wee mate Kevin Thompson, because it's somebody who I think Rangers fans will get on board with, Celtic fans will get on board, because I do think that Scotland have lost the old firm support a wee bit over certainly over the last 2 decades.
Definitely.
For a variety of reasons. Right, I'm not going to say it's one thing or the other, right? But Rangers players getting booed by the Tartan Army would certainly. I'm sure if Celtic players were getting booed.
Oh, Celtic players have get booed in the past. Of course, I've been to Scotland games where I'm pretty sure was it Kieran Tierney that came off the bench and he get booed. So I'm
and I don't like that. When you're wearing the blue top, that's all that matters.
I mean, you can't do that. You know.
Do you remember? I think was it Ryan Jack that got booed?
Ryan Jack as well. But I'm thinking to myself, why are you going to the game? Why are you going to the game if these players are in the squad and you're going to the game? If you don't like the fact that they're in the squad, don't buy a ticket. Don't go.
And even if it was Aberdeen fans who were raging that he left Aberdeen to join Rangers, right? Park that shit. See when he's wearing the Rangers top at Pittodrie, boo the fuck at him. That's your opportunity to do it. Not when he's wearing a Scotland top.
Well, I suppose,
you've got to.
That'll dent confidence in people when you do things like that.
And I think it probably makes players not want to show up.
Well, there is that element as well.
I think we had let's be honest, we also had a period in the early 2000s where Barry Ferguson was getting booed by the Tartan Army, and you're like, come on.
Certain players would just pull out of squads and hell. I used to think they were
your best players,
Players would pull out of squads and you'd be like that. They'd be playing for their club the following week because they weren't injured.
They didn't want the aggro. But I do hope that this is a fresh start for Scotland. And I think we've been calling for it for a while. Steve Clarke, it became quite stale. Even though, credit where it's due.
I know, he did qualify for 3 tournaments. He's the most successful Scotland manager ever.
But this feels fresh. But what I want to see is a fresh squad. If I see the World Cup squad named, I'll be raging. I want to see, the likes of it said, Stephen Welsh, Robbie Ure, just a couple other bodies that you go, all right, let's see
even Lennon Miller if he's getting a game.
Mulligan's a perfect example at Hibs.
Mulligan, even maybe Kieran Bowie. I don't know how good Kieran Bowie's doing.
Yeah, he's just moved to another team in Italy. So
well, then, there you go.
Why not? What about Ollie Burke? He constantly scores goals over in Germany. Why not give him another goal? Yes, 28, right? But he was shite.
Is Jordan Rhodes still available or not?
He's only 28, but he was shite at Celtic, right, for one loan period.
He's done all right at Celtic. I thought he was okay.
It shouldn't define him.
No, I know that, but I thought he was all right.
At the end of the day, he's went over to Germany and
he's been to a million clubs. He's been at a million clubs.
And I'm just saying, see when players are playing well, get them in.
Aye.
And I think we've often, like you said, with Gold, that's a perfect example of someone that we overlooked because he was playing far away.
It's not even that, I know. I mean, Johnny Russell, he never got a game for Scotland either. He used to be all right.
I don't think he was ever really good enough, but I do think Gold was though. Well, but yeah, I think there's plenty of players, and I hope that this guy's got his eye out everywhere. And I also hope that he's looking to see who's got a Scottish granny.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I don't think we're blessed with that many great players. So
no, we aren't. But see, just before we finish, just a wee quick note on the period in October when the international break comes around. The 10 and 6 is coming back. I don't know if you remember them, but I do.
Yeah, of course.
And I quite.
It'll be interesting to see some of the squads.
Aye, but I like the old one, but in the old one it was the current players that played in them. But this one, it's players for the recent past, so it's kind of like I don't know who it'll be, but it'll be interesting to see who it is. But what do you make it? I think it's a good thing.
It'll be good, but Rangers better get Defoe. If they get Defoe, we've got a chance. How good would he be at 10 and 6? Put it honestly, I mean, regardless of who he played for, but if there's ever a striker that you think would be good at sixes, it's Defoe.
So I think it's players that have maybe recently retired then.
Yeah, I think Charlie McGrew was saying on commentary that
Tom Rogic maybe
he's got 4 options. So Charlie McGrew's got always 3 options. 4.
Right. That's
United,
right.
Dundee United,
Celtic and Aberdeen.
3 options, so somebody will give him a call.
I'm sure it'll be Celtic. Mark Wilson's got Dundee United and Celtic as well. So
I hope big Bruno Alves comes through. That'd be a good run.
I'm trying to think who we could get in. Like players for the recent, but Joe Ledley probably again, or
Ledley,
Gary Hooper.
Yeah, you'll be good at that. You can finish. Do you know what I mean?
I think he's still playing as well. You know.
Yeah. Right. Chris Commons maybe, even though he's quite fat, he'll still be able to score for anywhere. At 6s, it's not 11 aside.
Effie Ambrose.
You never know. I mean, I imagine Barry Ferguson.
Who's it going to be? Arthur Boric in goal, do you think?
He'll cover most of the goal, won't he?
Oh, come on.
Aye. All goalies when they retire get
I know that. I get that. But I love King Arthur.
I wonder if Rangers could get McGregor to do it now. I know he's coaching now, but although we'll probably end up with somebody like Neil Alexander.
But all in all, I think it sounds a good idea.
We could maybe do a stream for it, because I think it's going to be on Premier Sports, isn't it? So
Aye, it's be quite interesting.
I think it's over. Is it 4 sessions over 2 days?
Aye, so 2 days. Aye,
a Saturday afternoon, Saturday night.
Yep.
Sunday afternoon.
I was thinking about trying to get tickets for it.
It's expensive.
I think she's looked and it was a bit expensive, but if we can't get tickets, then I'll just watch it in the telly anyway.
Because I looked at the Sunday afternoon, because it's at Braehead and it's just near where the kids are.
Aye.
And I was like, 3 kids, me, and it was like £102, and I was like, fuck.
That's scandalous, isn't it?
No.
To watch old pensioners kick a ball about.
I know. So maybe it will be a Premier Sports one.
I just sit and watch
justify that subscription.
Aye. Right. I'll find a pub somewhere to watch it.
We should also, just because obviously Friday, there's only going to be 1 league game this weekend because of all the postponements. Aye. So how do you see the Dundee Derby going? I think Dundee United will win.
So do I think Dundee United will have too much for them.
It's a wee bit stronger. But I also just think, I get why we're postponing them, but I wish Rangers were playing, because
I wish Celtic were playing. I'd rather play the
games. More games under your belt, because I think it will help you.
See, I agree with you. See, if you're playing, you've got a better chance of winning. I think so as well.
Especially with Rangers, right, having not won their opening 2 games, go and get a win.
Do you know the only...
Make yourself feel better.
The only bright spot about this weekend coming with Celtic and that not playing is the fact that the English Premier League's back, so I can watch it. At least that's something.
A couple of good games, actually. I think Hull Man United's the Saturday morning when I'll be watching that.
Because you want your football fix.
I know. I think there's a few games worth watching.
Man United game Friday night, I think that is. Is it?
No, Man United Saturday. It's Arsenal Coventry Friday night.
Right, I thought they were the Friday.
But Man U is the early one on Saturday. That's the one I'll be watching.
That's what it is. I've obviously mixed up. I thought they were the Friday. Fair enough.
I think that's the opening game on TNT. I think Sky Sports have got the Friday night. But I think it all finishes with Fulham Chelsea on the Monday night, but we'll probably be doing our pod at that point.
Aye, but we'll have it on in the background.
But we'll see where we're at, because I don't know what we'll figure out where we're at, because I don't know that we really need to come on for one game, but maybe there'll be transfer stuff that we can just have a wee chat.
Mm-hmm. But
and obviously we'll want to talk about the second legs next week, because they'll be huge.
The only thing, if we come on Friday, what we could do, I suppose, is review the Thursday and the Wednesday games or whatever. But
I think we're probably better just come on the Monday and we'll review all the European games and the Dundee derby.
Right. Okay.
And then we can sort of set up what's happening for the obviously the second legs. And obviously the transfer window will be getting closer to closing.
Yep.
Celtic might have another deal over the line by then.
Hopefully.
I mean, normally it takes you about 2 weeks to get one. So
slower than a week in the jail, I know.
And Derek McInnes says he wants 2 in by Wednesday night, but I'm not seeing any real links to sort of say who it would be.
Is that your European deadline Wednesday night? Is it?
No, we want a striker in, obviously, to replace Chimiti. But the only links I've seen are, do you remember the boy who used to be at Hearts? Ellis. Oh, was it Ellis something?
Aye. I think I remember. I know
big boy, and he went to Coventry.
Is a big black boy, wasn't
he?
Aye. Yep.
Ellis Sims,
that's it. Yeah.
Well, apparently Coventry have signed 2 strikers. One, that Ayawani for Nottingham Forest, and somebody else. So he's sort of went down their pecking order. So I think Rangers look at him as maybe quite a like for Chimiti. Just big, strong, bit of pace. So I think that could be an option. But we also badly need quality on the wings.
Yeah, man.
Although I have to say,
hopefully we'll get some players in.
Our whipping boys, Gassama and Tanecki, certainly played well at the weekend.
Oh, Tanecki did. I want Murray that for him. I'd love to see him do that all the time.
I want Murray for Gassama, but that's the problem, is we see it one game and then they get 5 shout ones.
Hopefully this will be Tanecki's season to do it.
Well, I'm hoping it'll be Gassama's, because there's no doubt that both of them have a high ceiling.
There is a player in Tanecki, and I know you think there's a player in Gassama.
They both have a terrible floor.
Aye.
So it's like, when they're shite, they're shite. But they're good is really good. Like, I mean, I still think Tanecki's one of your most dangerous players when he's on form. And I'm sure you look at Gassama the same way. Any player that can run at you and scare the life out of you with pace.
Oh, aye.
And both of them have that, but sad thing is they just don't have a lot of end product. It's consistent. But, you know, I think people forget they're young, though. They're both about 22.
Aye, still pretty young.
You know, and I mean, even like 28-year-old wingers are inconsistent.
Aye.
So I think they'll both be around at Rangers and Celtic this year and could have good seasons if they can find that wee bit more consistency.
Aye.
But we'll better go off. We've been gibbering for about 75 minutes. So.
Yep.
I'll let you go, and we'll be back on next Monday.
Yep.
But like and subscribe, anyone, and comment anything. And if you're interested in us doing a kind of live stream of the Tenant Sixes, that could be a fun idea. At least for the Saturday or the Sunday night. Maybe the Sunday night, because that's when it finishes.
Aye, that would be quite good, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it depends on who's left in it to win at that point.
Aye. Well, I think the Saturday night's the Old Firm, so we should maybe do that one.
Possibly. Right.
Cool. We'll leave it there.
Right.
Cheers.
Right. I'll see you later. Right, cheers, mate. Bye-bye.